Alright. One more friend. We keep scrolling down. There's so many. Okay. Volume 11 of Pals and Promises, Made and Broken. Another night, another long, long walk. Despite the blisters, you've started to feel truly optimistic. You've got a lot going for you these days. True, you're still technically a castaway on a hostile planet, with absolutely no hope of rescue. But, if you're completely honest, Earth was pretty shitty too. Sure, 98% of everyone here is a psychopath who would rip your face off as soon as look at you, but it's the other 2% that are really going to make it all worth it. And talk about friendship? Oh dear. Alright, Mallek. And maybe you're pushing your luck at this point. A reasonable person would just hit up one of their many, many new friends and find a place to crash. But the night is young, so to speak, and you have a good feeling about this particular desolate stretch of road. You're just wondering where you should hide out for the day when a long car pulls up next to you on the street. You hunch your shoulders and keep walking, hoping they're just here for the scenery. But you are literally the scenery here. So when the back door opens and two trolls lumber toward you, you can't say you're surprised. You are a little surprised when they each grab hold of your arms and drag you into the car. Up until now, you've found trolls to be surprisingly chatty. You aren't expecting the assault and ask questions later approach. The car takes off before you have time to catch your breath. You will never catch that breath. It's blocked behind you now. It's loose. And here you are without your breath, face to face with a troll who's leaning back on his bench seat. Just straight chillin'. The dome light glints off his blue eyes, and what someone less hip than you might describe as way too many piercings. He has them in his ears, nose, and eyebrow. He even has a couple in his horn. His hair is shaved in a daring undercut, and his teeth are sharp. Hey. Hey yourself, asshole. Oh damn. Some of your newfound self-confidence just bubbled out of you like spit up from an infant. This is gonna go bad fast. But instead of immediately murdering you, he looks you up and down, checking you out in all your ragged glory. He smiles, slow and lazy. It does things to your guts. Friendship things. His smile stretches wider, going slightly lopsided from his piercing. He looks like he likes what he sees, even if what he sees is you being a rude bitch. Fair. I did just get my boys to drag you off the street, and I get how that is a little not chill. Sorry about that. I'm Mallek. Mallek doesn't look too sorry, but you're distracted by one of his boys, who is looking at you through a familiar pair of eyes hidden behind a fall of dark bangs.
Hey, I was wondering if you remembered me.
Remember? You doubt you'll ever forget, even with extensive therapy.
Aw.
Yeah, sorry about the cloak and lacer bullshit. You just couldn't let anyone get their fronds on you first. You know. Wow. He was looking for you, like, specifically. Sure, dude, I've been following you. Really? You feel like you would have noticed someone like him. He doesn't exactly blend in. Mallek holds up his palm husk with the Chitter app open. You recognize your own profile. Your follower count has gone up significantly since the last time you checked. Right. So everyone's going on about this new Chitter account? Alien invasion of one? Figure it's a publicity stunt or imperial propaganda. Uninteresting, not worth my time. But then I start thinking, what if it's not? If it's generally an invasion, how the hell have they survived this long? The drones should have obliterated a complete son of a bitch like you right away. That's literally what I said. They should have taken your hornless head off hair grease ago. They haven't. Why? Here's what I keep asking myself. Then I figure out how you must be doing it. Without meaning to, you lean towards him. Have you finally found someone who understands and appreciates just how terrific you are at friendship maneuvers? Who really gets your area of study? You're a robot. Oh god damn it, not even close. But he's so obviously and avidly interested in you that, well, you tell a tiny little fib. I'm a robot. Hell yeah.
Hey, he's kinda crazy. I didn't know you were a robot. Wild. I guess it makes sense, though. You did have a sixth sense for meat and where to find it?
Mallek looks intrigued. Meat tracker? That's interesting. Sure. You hope he doesn't try to test that functionality. You doubt you have another meat miracle in you. But all he does is keep giving you piercing looks in between texting furiously. Piercing looks. Then he snaps a photo of you. Oh no, he's not going to post that on Chitter. Hashtag robot? You can't be a hashtag. Everyone will know you're lying and blow up your cover. Not to mention your mentions. Don't worry about that. Social media gives me hives. I have a Google alert set for a certain combination of words. After Zebra's place, you're kind of expecting another lavish palace, but when you get out of the car, you see that Mallek isn't indigo, he's cerulean, like Elward and Remily and that one girl who kept boys in cages. Also, you're starting to think people's hives have more to do with taste than caste. Amnesia had a homely little art studio, and Tagra had all these vases and shit. Before he leads you inside the apartment building, Mallek turns to Demon and the other lowblood and starts messing around on his palm husk again. Nice job, guys. I'm rerouting a Scythian drone shipment as we speak. KF, I'm sending you those DVDs you wanted. They'll be at your hive when you arrive. The Bronze Blood Ruffian bows to Mallek. He looks a little uncomfortable and pats him awkwardly on the arm. Demon, I'll send your shit to, that shrub you live in.
Thanks, man.
And my offer still stands. I got a couple extra coops if you get sick of living rough. Demon shrugs.
Thanks, but I can't be tied down. Nice to see you again.
You and Mallek ride the elevator all the way to the top of the hive stem, and he leads you into a surprisingly tasteful loft apartment. Mom, my shit is upstairs. Isn't the whole apartment his shit? Yeah, technically. Let's go upstairs, though. He brings you upstairs, up to a higher level that has a recuperacoon shoved against a wall, and a couch shoved against another. But they're both I am losing it at the moment. But they are both afterthoughts to just an ungodly amount of computer shit. Right when you got here, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell that's what it was, but now you're used to Altonia's weird bug tech. Squishy and organic, and almost certainly alive, at least in the way that plants are alive. There are a couple of wires in there almost definitely slithering. Mallek sits down in front of one of his screens and wakes it with a single swipe of his claws. He gestures you lazily into one of several office chairs. It squeaks as you sit down and sinks a little under your weight. He proceeds to ignore you as he slides a little pair of thin flame grasses onto his nose, typing a list of commands into a text box. Then he pushes himself across to another screen with an alert flashing in one corner. You know what this is all adding up to. He's an IT guy. No, I prefer to be called... Oh. Shit. Huh? I have this joke I do where someone calls me a hacker and I say, I prefer the term information specialist. And now that's ruined. Oh shit. Hacker was totally your next guest. You can do it again. Nah, moment's gone. No worries. Okay, I get the semicolons. They make sense. So, he's a hacker? That's pretty cool and subversive. You wonder if he's part of Tizia's secret and anti-government movement. You almost ask, and then stop yourself at the last second. Whatever Tizius's anarchist leanings are, you aren't going to blab them to his rando cerulean. Much as you love to meet new friends, you really aren't about to throw one under the scuttlebug for no reason. Yeah, not a lot of blues get down on this sort of thing. Goldbloods are better with tech. They got that living battery noise, you know how it goes. All the Goldbloods you've met have been, well, as Daya did have that scouter thing, and Goopram hacked a phone? Or something. Whatever. It was a while ago. Zebedee mostly just liked fanfic. Interesting. You'd think they would have programmed you with cultural stereotypes. Huh? Oh, right. You're a robot. You wonder how a robot is supposed to act. You sit up straighter and think about circuit boards. Mallek messes around some more on his computer and frowns. Then he frowns some more. Then he reaches down and picks up one of the thick purple wires from the mess on the ground. He pauses. Apparently he isn't sure where to stick it. He glances down and you cross your legs before you can pull your dress up and start searching for external ports. Because, nope, not happening, dude. You don't have any network connections, so I've got to use an Ethernet. Don't be lame. You weren't trying to be lame. You just don't want things in orifices. Eventually you compromise and let him stick it under your armpit, like you're a baby having your temperature taken. You watch him tap away at his screen, marveling at the ludicrous choices you've made in your life that have led you to a troll sticking a wire under your armpit because he can't find your Wi-Fi signal. You sit there as his brow furrows further, and his frown gets more pronounced. His annoyance bounces him out of his laid-back, cool guy attitude. A blinking purple light flashes on his piercings.
Look, maybe my tech isn't compatible.
Yeah, I have no voice for him. One of the wires is coming towards you, and for a second you think you finally found a piece of technology that is actually alive. But then you see a little flicker of movement at the end of it, and realize that it's a white snake with beady, intelligent eyes. Ah, a lusus. Don't be scared, he won't hurt you. He's just checking everything out. Of course not. Why would you be afraid of a giant snake winding up your legs? Everybody's really about your legs. You need to get a pair of pants. Is the snake checking you for artificial parts? Are snakes particularly sensitive to technology? Is it because they're long? Weird. This is a radical situation. I have no idea what to make of you two. You feel like such a dickhead. Can you really continue to live this lie?
I'm a special robot.
You're in this to win this, and you're riding it out till the end. You tell him that you're actually the latest model of spybot from your alien government. You're so advanced that you're indistinguishable from the real thing. Seriously, you aren't supposed to tell anyone, but you're telling him, since he's so rad. This is terrible. You just promised yourself the other day that you'd stop lying to make yourself look good. Or in this case, make yourself look like a robot. Besides, he's never going to buy it. I knew it. There's no other explanation. Fascinating. He leans in close enough that you almost step backward off your chair. He catches your arm. He's surprisingly strong for such a skinny nerd, though you really shouldn't be surprised anymore. Size doesn't correlate to strength for trolls necessarily. His skin is chilly and his nails press dense into the skin of your arm. It hurts, but not enough to shake him off. He's looking at you so seriously. What, does he think your eyes are USB ports? You apologize that your robot specs are not the right ones. Mallek breaks out of his trance and lets go of your arm. Kidding? What am I, some sort of script wiggler? This rules. I'm going to be first to crack you. Yikes. You half expect him to take out some sort of torture screwdriver and start prying you open. Instead, he gives you another one of those unreasonably flirty smiles. I'm done with you. I'm going to own your entire system. Whoa. I'm hungry. You hungry? With that, he takes off down the steps, jumping the last few and vanishing down into the kitchen. You're left there, blinking at his afterimage. It sounded like he was hitting on you back there, but then he just pranced down the stairs like a bejeweled antelope. You creep down to the kitchen to find him pulling things out of cabinets, opening the fridge with his toes, then slamming it shut with a hard kick so that all the stuff on top rattles. His palm house rings and he pulls it out of his pocket, answering it and spitting a bunch of jargon at the person on the other end. He does all of this while rooting around in a drawer of cutlery, talking loud enough to be heard over the rattler. All you know about hacking is that it's usually done by a bunch of greasy dudes with glasses and Dorito dust on their fingers. Usually there's a girl and she's hot. Whatever. You aren't sure which troop Mallek is yet, possibly a combination of all of them. While he yells at somebody over the phone about blockchain, you take the time to wonder, rather sheepishly, how many other piercings he has and on what parts of his body. I haven't tried fucking with robots yet, really. So far I've only reprogrammed drones remotely. You realize belatedly that he's no longer on the phone, is instead talking to you. Alright, he mentioned something about that earlier with Demon, hacking into drones to reroute their delivery routes. Yeah, rerouting's easy. I got almost all my gear that way. All the good stuff's reserved to blues. Wait, isn't Mallek a blue? He laughs and puts a pad on the stove. As if. Sure, Cerulean's blue, but barely. Every indigo you meet, I'm gonna make sure you know it. You want to ask him if you can help him with anything, but you barely know how to cook when you're on your own planet. He pauses with 2 eggs about the mixing bowl. Hey, you like cluck beast embryos? What now? He cracks the eggs. The yolks are purple and runny. Your stomach squirms uncomfortably. Oh, my bad. Can you even eat? What? Oh yeah, robot. Of course you can eat. It wouldn't be a very clever disguise if you couldn't eat, right? Although now that he mentions it, you really haven't been eating as much as you did on Earth. The meals you've had have been few and far between, but you aren't even that hungry. Weird. Oh god, what if you are a robot? Plot twist! Mallek is not privy to your existential crisis and therefore keeps cracking eggs. Buckbeast embryos. Troll words are so ridiculous. Not really. No language is inherently more ridiculous than the other, subjectively. They should really program that in when they touch and read Alternian. What? Nobody taught you how to read. You're on Jitter. All your chirps are Alternian. Let me see your palm husk. He holds out a hand for your phone. His nails are painted a shimmery black, and he has on one of those thick rings that could double as a brass knuckle. Tell him that you figured you just had the palm husk on the Earth setting. Of course, that makes no sense. Nobody here knows about Earth, or about English for that matter. You're pretty sure it's not even the most commonly spoken Earth language. No translation software running. And it's good old-fashioned Alternian. Well, it's not old-fashioned, it's contemporary. That's an idiom. See, if you weren't a robot, this would be really weird. Well, it is already kind of weird that you're a robot. But your Alternian is perfect. You want to tell him that your Alternian is in no way perfect. You have literally no idea what is going on. But before you can get the words out, a terrific crash comes from somewhere above you. Mallek drops your palm husk into the bowl of buckbeast embryos. Bang. Grounds. Shit. You don't need this right now. You, a fake robot, have no chance against a real robot, with lasers. Even worse, Mallek rounds on you, lips drawn back from his teeth. It is your fucking fault. They must have tracked you here. No other way they could find this place. I'm off the grid. You try to point out to Mallek that maybe the drones are mad about all the hacking business, but he isn't listening to you. He's shoving his palm husk into his pocket and making a leap for the kitchen window. Fuck. Can he survive a 10-story drop? I'm not sure. One thing's for sure, though. You can't. A rocket surfboard. One of them. Should probably recognize, but don't. Right. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey. You murmur hello while trying not to meet those alarming blue eyes. Because although you've amassed quite a cache of high-blood hoes, you know what blue typically means for you. Yikes o'clock. You don't love the idea of throwing yourself out of a moving vehicle, but you also don't love being stuck inside of one with a high blood. And past evidence has shown that although wild acts of foolhardy daring end in pain and embarrassment, you have not actually been killed yet. If you didn't die then, you probably won't die now. That is 100% how probability works. Past experience is no predictor of future results. You open the door, and before the troll or his ruffians have a chance to protest, you ollie out of there. You are right. You don't die. But it sucks. Weed plant. Yourself. I'm a robot. Alright, I'm not a robot. You brace yourself. In your experience, dealing with the fallout of your deceptions is never pleasant. You expect him to throw you out, or at least get a snake to the face. Instead, Mallek just sags back into his desk chair and settles with a depressed little squeal. He takes his glasses off and drops them onto his desk, palming at his eyes. It strikes you how exhausted he looks. You thought the dark smudges were eyeliner, but they might be eyeliner and despair. You wonder if now is the time to start apologizing. You're getting really good at apologies. Just chill. I was the one who grabbed you off the street. You're probably scared of what I'd do to you if you weren't what I hoped you were. Well, more like you were worried about the friend opportunity that would swirl down the drain, but yeah, okay, you were also a little scared. You still are. It's a total body-encompassing ambient fear that is always buzzing in the background of everything you do in Alternia, so subliminal that sometimes you wonder if it's the total opposite, the complete absence of fear. That's deep, man. In retrospect, it's pretty fucking stupid to assume a robot is going to solve my problems. Very true. In your limited experience, more robots, more problems. Yeah, it's just something new, you know? Something I haven't tried yet. What is it exactly that he's trying so hard to do? He seems to be pretty well off, over hacking drones and shit like that. Mallek laughed. Yeah, hacking drones. That's all just bullshit. His Lucis curls around his ankle affectionately. He gives him a little nudge. His palm husk rings, and he pulls it out of his pocket and just looks at it for a couple seconds. I can't deal with this right now. Come on. He heads down to the lower floor, waiting at the bottom of the steps to see if you're following. You are, albeit nervously. You're having a hard time reading Mallek. Maybe it's all the piercings. It gets worse when he calls the elevator and then stands back. After you. You expect swinging blades to come at you, but they don't. You expect Mallek to attack, but he doesn't. Just slumps moodily back against the elevator wall and closes his eyes. His palm husk rings again, and his jaw tenses. The elevator goes past the lobby, then it goes past the basement, and the sub-basement. Oh, what's a sub of a sub-basement? Dude, what? The sub-basement is just a square, dungeon-like space, damp trickling down the walls. Your stomach crumples and your heart bounces up into your throat. Oh no, is this Mallek's cerulean murder dungeon? A phantom pain presses against your ribs and arm. But Mallek just leads you through a gap in the wall that you initially took for a shadow. It opens into a tunnel with rough stone walls and dirt-covered floor. It's clearly man-made, or troll-made. The air grows damper and the sound of rushing water gets closer and closer. You emerge from the tunnel and find yourself on the bank of a wide underground river. Mallek sits down on the edge of the overlook. Sit down, sorry. It is not accountable as a loft. Oh man, Mallek brought you to his special place. I don't know if I'd call it special, but it's a place I come a lot. You sit down next to him. You get how this could be pretty zen, just watching the dark water flow by. The walls glow with an eerie bioluminescence, digging craters underneath Mallek's tired eyes. Also, he pulls his phone out and shows you the screen. No husk signal. It's the only place I can really unplug. Kind of relaxing, you know? Oh yeah, you imagine the demands of being an information specialist could really put a dent in your chill. Yeah. You sit there with a rock digging into your ass and allow yourself to appreciate just how deep his gesture of trust really is. Even after you lied to him, he wants to tell you his life story. Fuck, you love life stories. You ask him exactly what he wants with your not-existent robot laurels. He said something about reprogramming drones. Yeah. Reprogramming drones, didn't he? Could he be part of the Resistance? What? Oh, you mean all that low-blood right stuff? Nah. What's even the point? That's a great way to get cold. But he helped Demon, that other guy. Other little guy. Yeah, but they're cool, and I was paying them for services rendered. Roughing you up? He nudges you with his elbow. So far, all I've been able to do is reroute delivery drops. Just some weak sauce shit like that. That's a pretty pathetic way to fuck up a system. You aren't sure you get what he's about. Why care about fucking up the system if you don't want revolution? I guess I wouldn't mind revolution. Alternia's alright. For me it's alright, not for everybody. I'm not so fucking myopic to think I don't have it better than a lot of trolls. I'm not one of them bulge biters who wank off about the sanctity of the blood and how low bloods deserve what they get. If they don't, it blows. I don't blame them for feeling bad or whatever, I just gotta worry about myself, and that's all I got energy for. Well, he does seem to be doing pretty okay. Like, he has that sweet pad. Right, yeah. for half a sweep, maybe. Then it's all gone, everything I've worked for, and I'm up in motherfucking space. Right, space war. Sounds like a huge drag. Yeah, dude. He tosses a rock into the dark water below. And that's the plan, right? If I own the drones, I own the whole system. I own the Eris. They'd all be playing my game, with my rules. His eyes glint in the semi-darkness, and so does the little hint of fang when he smiles. His piercings light up like tiny points of fire. You tell him that sure sounds like revolution talk to you. Also possibly villain talk. He grins like you're flattering him. Right, but I'm sweeps away from that. And other hackers won't. I mean, I work alone. I'm not a fucking psionic. Can't use mine, honey. It won't kill me the way it would Rusty, but I'd definitely get the runs. I don't have sweeps. I have months, maybe pedigrees. You ask him if he thinks things are going to be really bad for him up there in space. Like I said, I'm not a psychic, so no one's going to turn me into battery. They'll make me a fucking soldier or a spy. What about his hacker skills? Oh yeah, check out all my illegal activities. Please give me a good assignment. Hell no. Yeah, he couldn't really put that on his resume. If I was a high blood, I could get away with it probably, or they might think it was cute if I was a low blood. But mid-caste is like, no way. But there's gotta be something. He pulls out his palm husk and starts frantically tapping away. Wait, you thought he didn't have any signal down here? Yeah, I got a Wi-Fi hotspot. What am I, some kind of fucking Luddite? He gestures to one of his earrings. You aren't sure if he means his jewelry is the Wi-Fi hotspot, or if that's a troll gesture for, you're an idiot. Hey buddy, you said you were gonna unplug. That's important to your mental health, isn't it? Getting off the internet once in a while? You can't really speak for yourself, since you've only recently become an internet celeb. Mallek waves you away. You make a grab for his palm husk. You aren't honestly sure why. Maybe you're trying to be flirty or playful or some shit, but because everybody knows there's nothing more flirty and playful than stealing people's stuff. Bitches love that. You manage to snatch it away, but your floppy fingers fumble and you lose your grip. Mallek's phone sails over the edge of the bank and into the dark waters below. That splash is the sound of your doom. Mallek stares at the water, then he stares at you. His mouth moves soundlessly. You threw my tech in the water. Mallek puts his hand on your shoulder. Somehow, against all impossible odds, he's still gonna be chill. Wow, what a guy. You hit the water before you know what's happening. It isn't freezing, but it sure as hell isn't balmy either. The current grabs you and tugs you under. Your knees and elbows scrape rocks, and your dress dangles around your legs and makes it hard to kick back towards the surface. The water is so dark, you don't even know where the surface is. Just when you're making peace with the fact that your grave is going to be a watery one, something grabs you from behind and hauls you upward. You gasp down air, choking in more water than anything else. Two strong hands push you back up onto the bank, then begin smacking you on the back. You don't think it'll help you cough up any water, but you do think it's gonna bruise. My bad, dude. That was reflex. You threw my shit in the water, so I threw yours. You okay? You hack up one more gasp of water and give Mallek a thumbs up. He's as wet as you are, hair slicked back off his forehead. It makes his eyes look huge and impossibly blue. You jumped in to save your clumsy ass. His shirt is gone, and hey, now you know the location of two more of his piercings. You apologize for grabbing his phone. In retrospect, you should not have tried to be cute at the edge of a river. Yeah, you don't have to try. I mean, fuck. Mallek flushes. Right now, you just look like a giant squeak beast. Sorry I fucked up your rumpus robe. I'll lend you something. Cool. You're kind of over this dress anyway. Hey. Mallek twists his claws together. You aren't going to tell people what I said earlier. I'm not afraid to go off the planet. I just, you know. This time you do know. You tell him his secret is safe with him, and if you find any actual robots in your travel, just send them his way. Thanks. Here. He helps you to his feet. To your feet. Damn, it's cold down here. I'll get you something when we get back upstairs. As long as you don't mind wearing my sign. I can't think of anything you'd like more, honestly. Friendship. Ooh. Alright. Those are all the friends we have time for today. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. See y'all again tomorrow with more of this. Y'all have a great day out there.